One team managed a solitary point for the whole game. In the same round, two teams kicked a combined 3 goals only. You go on to say, AFLW is not elite sport and the female version of the Australian game of football is substandard. It's not deserving of the attention and funding that it gets.
It's the argument that's fought in the bowels of Facebook comment sections between someone who knows what they're talking about and your fucking auntie who read an article from the Woman's Day. Everyone is upset that female athletes don't get paid as much as their male counterparts. It only exacerbates the wage gap, but I'd just like to say, ladies, you don't deserve as much money. I'm so sorry to tell you. In this video, we talk a lot about sponsors, and sponsors are important, and this video is brought to you by the great people at Surfshark VPN. Safety and security are two very important aspects of daily life on the internet. Everywhere you go, there's dirty little soy boys trying to do you harm and try to steal your shit. Most internet users aren't even aware of the amount of surveillance that's happening. Particularly in Australia, with new data surveillance laws rushed through Parliament, the government can have your device, collect your data, and take over your social media. Don't you wish there was someone out there to protect you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is, and their name is Surfshark VPN. Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard to trace online user. But it doesn't stop there. Do you know what geo-blocking is? Some movies on some streaming platforms can't be seen in different countries. Access shouldn't be tied to nationality, and with Surfshark VPN, it's no longer tied. You can have it anywhere in the world. Surfshark gives you all the access you need. Just refresh the page and access granted. I use it every single day. And ladies and gentlemen, if you use the promo code BUTTSMAN, you'll get 83% off. Surfshark also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Surf by your own set of rules, ladies and gentlemen, and support those who support this channel. Now, back to the video. If you spend any time on the internet, you'll notice that large, overweight women who are well past their prime and really skinny, pale, weak men love this argument that women athletes deserve more pay. Yeah, let's do it. And I tell you what, if you disagree, then you're a bigot. Yeah, you misogynistic pricks. Here are the facts, ladies and gentlemen, from BuzzFeed.com, so you know it's spot on. Here are some of the highest paid athletes in the world, male, and then the highest paid female athletes in the world. Carly Lloyd, who I have never heard of, is a soccer player, I think, and gets $518,000 a year. Pretty good pay. Lionel Messi, who I think I've heard of, gets 105 million. Now, I don't know how many, people that, what's her fucking name? I've forgotten it already. That's how much she doesn't matter. I don't know how many people Carly gets to the games, but I'm pretty sure Lionel Messi sells out every fucking game he's at. But if you ask anyone else why that occurs, it's because not of advertisements or anything like that, or people who turn up, or people who watch on TV. It's sexism. What about tennis? Is it the same? I hope not. Serena Williams, her earnings between 2019 and 2020, 36 million. That is so disgustingly underpaid. We need to riot in the streets. Roger Federer, he got 106 million. Oh my God. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, turn the stove off because my blood is boiling. Tiger Woods, $122 million throughout his career, and Annika, can't even pronounce the name, total earnings 22 million. The patriarchy at its worst, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're seeing. Or maybe the ladies out there, the female athletes, should just swallow the bitter pill and understand this. Less people are interested in your sports in comparison to the men's. Now, is that because of sexism? Maybe it's got a little something to do with it, but it's also because you're not as good. Serena Williams, we mentioned her early on. She challenged any man, right, outside of the top 100 to a match, and you know what happened? There was a German dude by the name of, the fuck was his name? Carsten Brasch. He was ranked 203rd in the world and beat her in straight sets. The number one tennis player in the world was beaten in straight sets by the 203rd ranked man. And you look at soccer too. The World Cup side from Australia was beaten by a group of 15-year-old boys. I'm just saying, it's not as good. But now the argument has come to Australia. The women's AFL, the Australian Football League, this sport.
Alexander has a player over the top, and it is costly. Scott kicks the second.
And the women's NRL, the National Rugby League, this sport.
Davis will double pump touch there. Stay alive. A come again, and McGregor dives in. Try number 3 for the Australian.
The argument is now happening here. Should they get equal pay? And Australian journalist Steve Price weighed in on the debate. Australian journalist slammed for saying boys' school sport is better to watch than AFL women's. Which is a creepy thing to say, but let's continue. Australian media personality Steve Price has unloaded on women's sport. Particularly the AFLW, claiming high school boys' games are better to watch. Weird thing to say. Now, Price is being slated for his remarks, with a bunch of people calling him out online about the AFLW. And I will say this, the NRLW, the women's, is actually not a bad game to watch. It's just not. The UFC, also a great example of women getting paid what they deserve. They get paid shitloads of money. Ronda Rousey, the #1 highly paid athlete in the UFC when she was in her prime, and she was a female. Why? Because she was the biggest draw card. She got the money she deserved. This is what this is all about. Equality of opportunity, not the equality of outcome here. We're talking about people getting paid what they deserve, not what you think they should get because fucking we live in some fucking weird communism society. We're all going to get paid the same, otherwise you're not equal. The world's not equal, you fucking idiot. Stop being such a bitch about everything and deal with that. Not everyone in the men's competition is paid the same. What, should the fucking shittest player in the whole competition get paid the same as fucking Lionel Messi? No, dickhead. So yeah, the NRLW, not too bad. The UFC, really good. Let's have a look at the AFLW for a moment. Okay, she's chasing the ball. I'll turn the music down. Chasing the ball, goes to kick it and misses right in front of the goal. Nice one, babe. You fucking nailed it. You deserve equal pay. Okay, she's tapping it on the ground. She scoots forward a little bit. Goes to kick it, kick it through the post. That's the whole thing. And she's dropped it. She's missed it. And she's kicked. Jesus fucking Christ. Who gave you the right to vote? This is disgraceful. I'll go out on a limb and say, let's not pay them equally, let's not pay them at all. In the article that Steve Price wrote, he tees off on the women's game. And old Pricey, he's on the radio and the project and shit. He's getting smashed from every side. Everyone's pretending that he's wrong with what he's saying. As I said earlier, some of these ladies haven't been playing for very long at all, and the competition's very new. If you go back to the start of the competitions here in Australia and everywhere in the world, like the big competitions, at the beginning, they were paid nothing. They all worked normal jobs and did this on the weekend because it's what they enjoyed and they wanted to further their career, right? They put in the hard yards. And now, the players who play today in the men's competitions and in some female competitions all around the globe are reaping the rewards because of that sacrifice. I feel like that's what the ladies should be doing here as well. Why? Because it will breed a better version of the game over time. And it's not a charity. It's not a charity, mate, all right? You get paid what you deserve. That's it. In saying all of that, if you get the same sponsors, if you get the same crowds, if you get the same TV ratings, you deserve as much money as the men. But you're not, so shut up. I tell you who disagrees with me here, the US Soccer Players Association and the body that runs the soccer there for the females. After 6 years of legal actions, the US Women's Soccer Players Association has recently won a settlement on discrimination and unequal pay. American soccer governing body agreed to pay $24 million and made a commitment to equalize pay and bonuses to match the men's team. Why? Why do these ladies deserve a handout? Now, the female team is actually doing better than the men's as far as winning competitions, but they're still not attracting the same amount of numbers. Now, if they were, and they weren't getting paid the same, then that would be absolutely unfair. That would be sexist, but they're not. Once again, shut up. Okay, if you even bring up this conversation about women not being paid equal to men, you get called a sexist straight away. Let's follow the money, because this is where the cash that the players get paid comes from sponsors, right? So from advertisements. So let's follow the money. The Panthers, they just won the NRL competition. Let's look at these sponsors. Scroll through. There's heaps. There's a lot. The major sponsor, the milk company, they probably pay, what, $5 million to be on the front of that? That's a lot of money. The AFL premiers, Geelong. Their major sponsor is fucking Ford. That's a $20 million contract, I reckon. 20 mil, surely. Okay, the gents, that's millions and millions in revenue just from sponsors. Then you look at the women's side, and Geelong, it's Ford as well. So Ford are just kicking in a little bit extra, right? They're not breaking it at half. It's not 10 million to the men's, 10 million to the women's. That would be a terrible business decision. I'd say they just kick in a little bit more. The NRLW for the Knights, the team that I go for. The women's side, also sponsored by the NIB, which is a private health fund here in Australia. And the men's are sponsored by the same. So my question is, where do you think the money comes from to pay people equally in a different competition, the men's and the women? Where do you think that? Is that just these sponsors just being nice? Is that what they're doing? They're just being nice? But you know what I'd also like to bring up, and people don't bring this up ever. We have a lot of companies in Australia and around the world whose reputation and advertisements is built on the back that they support women in everything. Let's take Lorna Jane, for example. Lorna Jane are a massive gym wear company here in Australia and maybe over the world. I don't know. Haven't done my research. It'd be a bit weird if I did. Why haven't they sponsored one of the female teams for $20 million? Where's their $20 million? Why don't they put their money where their mouths are, where their virtue signaling minds are? Huh? Come on. What about Mecca, the makeup brand? Massive all over the country. Why haven't they done it? I notice all these female owned and operated businesses are very fucking quiet. And the reason is because they don't believe in fucking female sport either. There are companies that do, the ones that sponsor the UFC, and they have a great product. They have amazing athletes. The NRLW, they're getting really good. But you don't deserve the pay unless you do the work, mate. And part of the job isn't just running on the field, it's attracting people to the games. It's attracting eyes to the TV, and you're not doing it, babe. So, until you start getting massive eyes on the game, ladies, how about you do a little bit better? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think down below. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Oh, and there'll be another video in 2 days. Toodaloo, au revoir. Bye-bye.